It's an amazing festival. It connects people from different parts of the country.
Everyone should come here and enjoy.
I think this is one of the opportunity for youngsters, for the children from the country who are in Delhi.
Good evening. It's been weeks since we've all been in this lockdown because of the COVID-19, and the lockdown is for us to be protected so that we don't get infected with the illness. And yet, some of us are struggling now because it's not just 1 or 2 days of staying at home. It's become many, many weeks. So before we understand what's happening to us, let's first understand where we were pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, life was going normal, and yet there were many of us who were suffering from different issues. Some of us were finding it difficult at work. Some of us were experiencing economic difficulty. Some of us may have suffered a loss or death of someone. Some of us may actually be caregivers looking after somebody who's ill, and we feel responsible for them. Some of us may actually just be finishing our jobs and looking for jobs, finishing our career studies, and we were thinking of April, May, we would have finished campus interviews. So a whole lot of different issues we were all going through pre-COVID. And then COVID came. When COVID-19 came and the lockdown started, what all of us are experiencing is primarily feelings of uncertainty, fear. And when there's uncertainty and fear, there is always loss. When there is loss, we grieve because we have lost something. Maybe we've lost our old way of living. Maybe there's economic loss. Maybe there is loss of a death one. Maybe we have loss of some other kind, and we are facing different losses. So at this point, what has happened is that we are already facing some issues pre-COVID, and then when this has happened to us, COVID has happened and the lockdown has happened, we feel completely like we are in a pressure cooker. And we are trapped in a pressure cooker. Along with that, we have facing social isolation, physical distancing and isolation. We are feeling, having issues because we are working from home. With working from home, what is happening is there are other issues because we have to do more housework in addition to managing our office work or our school work. Then we also have issues of fear of the actual illness. If I go out even to a shop to buy some vegetables, however much I protect myself, can I get the illness? Can I be a transmitter? So we are really in a state of being what we call pressure cookered. When we are pressure cookered, what happens to us is that there is a part of us, which is our emotional brain, which becomes very alert. It is in hypervigilant state, which means it is very watchful. This leads to us having difficulties feeling comfortable, having restful sleep. Our sleep patterns have changed. We are constantly feeling exhausted. We are feeling fatigued. We are feeling tired. Some of us have started complaining of headaches, etc. All this is because we are very pressure cookered. Now, to the very word lockdown itself has a different meaning for different people. That is because when we were young and we were little children, there are 5 categories of wounds that we experience, psychological hurts. The first category is smothering and control. When we were in an environment with primary caregivers where there was smothering and control, we felt the psychological pain because of that control. Or we would have faced physical abuse and violence, or we would have faced sexual violence, or we would have faced emotional or verbal abuse, or we would have faced abandonment. Abandonment means that our primary caregiver, either because there was death or they passed away, which is physical abandonment, or they were there but they were not available for us. So we may have felt one of these wounds. Now, if I illustrate and show you an example, today we know that we are in lockdown because it is to protect us. Yet, for some people who've had lockdown means control and smothering because of their early childhood issue, they are not able to separate the meaning of lockdown, and their body has memory of old experiences. So lockdown itself for them causes lots of fear and anxiety, because we human beings are meaning making animals. Intellectually, we know that lockdown is for our safety, but psychologically, we can't understand what it is. So it's very important for us to understand what's happening to us now, because if we understand what's happening to us now, we can actually take support and take help. If we do not take support and we do not take help, then we will become emotionally rigid. And when we become emotionally rigid, we have psychological injuries, which will then most probably come up as depression, anxiety, and other stress-related disorders. What we need post the lockdown, when we come into the new normal, is we need to have emotional agility and resilience. Emotional agility and resilience is the capacity to bounce back and come back into life in the way it's going to emerge for us. The reality is that for the next 18 months or so, we will not know what's the future and not have an assurance till the vaccine is developed completely and all of us have immunization. So what is important during COVID time is to first account and acknowledge that this is uncertain times, and during uncertain times we experience various feelings of anger, feelings of sadness, feelings of guilt, feelings of frustration, feelings of just wanting to do nothing and just keep sleeping. It is okay if you feel those feelings. What is important is you acknowledge it. The next one thing that we need to do during this time is actually to watch our breath. So because our breath tells us how balanced we are. And then is to communicate. Now, I see a question here. Is isolation making us more antisocial? So there are two parts to this. There are people who need to meet other people constantly to feel the energy, to feel good, and to feel motivated. However, there are some people, because of the isolation, and they are living in homes where there are many people and they don't get any time alone, they also feel tired. So does isolation make us antisocial? No, it doesn't make you antisocial, but depending on where you are, if you are living alone, then what social isolation will make you feel more alone. So you need to be in touch with your loved ones, either on virtual space or on the telephone. If you're in a family where there are many people and everybody is, locked down, then it's important to find 10 to 15 minutes every day so that you get that quiet time to replenish yourself. Next question I'm hearing is, how can one help overthinking that usually comes in being in isolation? Yes, some of us do overthink. This overthinking is because we are feeling anxious. Now, that anxiety is coming because our emotional brain, again, the amygdala, is actually hyper vigilant and on alert, and unawarely we are constantly trying to find a solution to cope. If you are overthinking, what you need to do is call a loved one and share whatever you're feeling, because too much of overthinking is harmful. What you do need is more rest. I would also suggest that you engage in some activities or hobbies that make you feel a little more calm and make you feel a little more enjoyable, because this is a difficult time. So overthinking is a time that we need to actually ask for help or support. Now, coming to this, as I said, it's important to look at different kinds of support. What we can do is we can reach out to our loved ones, or we can reach out to people on online support for therapeutic support, or we can also do one thing, is maintain a little journal or a little book where we are writing and sharing whatever is going on, because when we share, it is all coming out of us and not being internalized. When it gets internalized, then we get into defensive behaviors and addictions. And addictions like drinking, smoking, watching porn, retail addiction, food addiction, pill addiction, alcohol addiction, pan parag addiction. These are all defense addictions because we are finding it difficult to cope. So it's very, very important that we start doing that. Now, the other thing which is important is, how do we manage our relationships? We manage our relationships in this trying time because of the lockdown and we are at home. We need to actually have something called a boundary. A boundary is a personal space where we tell somebody when they are coming into our space and that is causing discomfort. What does these boundaries mean? We need, even though we are working from home, we need to have personal boundaries and professional boundaries. Because we are working from home, what is happening is professional and personal are getting mixed, and the whole area is becoming gray. And therefore, we are not able to differentiate which is personal life, which is professional life. Then, before, working from home sounded very exciting. But now when we are working from home, we realize that we don't have a space that is actually allotted to working from home. Now, what is important is to find a small space which is quiet and we don't get disturbed, and we can work from there. We also need to sit on comfortable places so that our backs and our body doesn't get hurt. Next question I'm hearing is, what steps can be taken to avoid drastic mood swings during this time? If you are having excessive mood swings, you possibly did have mood swings before the COVID times, so pre-COVID. I suggest that you immediately take professional support and see a doctor or a counselor, because mood swings are actually symptoms of early depression. And it's important that you take professional support. There is nothing wrong in taking professional support. If we take professional support, then what happens is that we recover much more quickly. You have all online portals now that will help you people professionally through the virtual module. Yes, there are several helplines that can help you. If you go on, I'm the chairperson of the Live, Love, Laugh Foundation, started by Deepika Padukone. If you go on to our website, the Live, Love, Laugh Foundation, we have a list of helplines that will help you choose one according to the city you are in, and you will get the support. Please reach out and please take the support that you need. Now, next thing that we need to know is, how do we structure time? Again, there is weekdays, we don't know when is weekdays and weekends, one day is moving into another. We don't have fixed times. It's important again for us to recognize that. And even time, make a structure how you plan the day. In that structure, what you will need is some time for what we call withdrawal, which is to replenish yourself of psychological energy so that you are able to cope. If you are all alone in your structured time, please keep some time to reach out and connect with people on the telephone or through Skype or any virtual space, so that you're in touch and you get that replenishment. We also need to remember that the plans that we make, do not make plans for 1 year, 2 years during this time. Make short plans. The plan should not be for more than a week. This is because the times are uncertain, we will constantly need to understand what is happening outside in the country with regard to the virus. So our plan should not be plans for next year, because we don't know about next year. Let's make plans for 1 week at a time so that we can complete what we plan. That will help us feel accomplished and give us energy to make more plans. That's why we need to structure our time. We also need to understand that some of us are actually going to find it very difficult because of the economic scenario. The reality is that we don't know even that. So do not make hasty decisions. Take time to make your decisions with regard to your career and how it should be. If you were going through some difficulties with somebody in your home, and you're feeling that you are doing more stuff and you are doing more work than somebody else is doing work, it's important to have those conversations, so that although it's uncomfortable, you are able to actually again allot time. We've also had lots of people talking about domestic violence. Yes, there has been increase of domestic violence and child sexual violence. In domestic violence, please reach out at least to your neighbor. Your neighbor will be able to will be able to support you, not because they can do anything, but because the person who is violating you will know that people are coming to know, and that will prevent them from hurting you more. Sexual violence, again, please reach out on helplines, or please alert some adult who you feel close to as a child or a youngster that this is happening to you. You do not need to suffer. You are suffering already. And if you keep quiet and keep these as secrets, the person who's violating or the perpetrator will continue to do this to more and more. And that is very harmful. It's okay to speak to somebody that you trust and you know. It's okay. Now, with regard to how are you going to cope otherwise, yoga is extremely good for you because the asanas help you feel balanced, the stretches are good, and the pranayam and the breathing helps the inner body feel the sense of balance and feel anchored and balanced. At this point, what we need really is balance. So a few minutes every day, 10 to 15 minutes, if you don't have more time, is again to do yoga and meditation. The food affects mood. So be watchful of the kind of food you eat. Eat plenty of vegetables. Drink less coffee and tea because caffeine is not good. It increases anxiety, and therefore drink more fresh juices, and it's now very hot, buttermilk, etc. Now, the last thing what I want to tell you is to feel hopeful, we must include a spiritual component. Spirituality gives us hope, and during uncertainty, we all need hope. If we don't have hope, then we feel even more dejected and hopeless. So it is important for us to have hope. So you can engage or in some spiritual activity, whether it's reading spiritual books, whether it is chanting your meditative prayers, or even saying your own prayers. I would end by telling you that these are the tools that we need, because the reality is uncertainty, and there is going to be uncertainty for some time, even when the lockdown is lifted. In case you need additional support, you can always reach out to my office. My website is annachandy.com. You can reach out, and me or one of my associates will give you the support that you need. Yeah. Are there any other questions that you would like me to answer? Please tell me now. Share with me now. Thank you. I really wish each of you all the very best, and I understand how difficult it is. However, just remember, this virus has brought us all together. It has brought all the world together. This virulent virus, in a way, has brought us all together and also tells us how we must also respect and value our nature and not destroy it, that we human beings are a part of nature. Let's always remember that, and stay safe, stay blessed, and do reach out if you need any support. Thank you. Namaskar.
Kojo, kojo. Kojo, kojo. Kojo, kojo.
It's an amazing festival. It connects people from different part of the country.
Everyone should come here and enjoy.
Kojo, kojo. Kojo, kojo.
I think this is one of the opportunity for youngsters, for the children from the country who are in Delhi.